Hello, welcome to my channel. Welcome to welcome to a book review that I'm doing today. Now, mind you, last year I decided that I would not do individual book reviews on my channel. However, I figure I'm going to make an exception. And so today, the book that I am reviewing, I read it a few weeks ago, and the book that, like a week, 2 weeks ago, and the book that I am reviewing is Becoming by Michelle Obama. And this is not going to be a long review, it's going to be very short. And basically, I'm just going to start off by saying Michelle Obama wrote this book so lovely, so well, and it was I enjoyed it. And the thing is, I feel like she was, in my opinion, I think she was just predestined to be a first lady. We can start off with the cover. Like, the cover is nice, but the picture kind of reminds me of like what do you call those portraits that you do in like senior portraits and things like that. So yeah, I don't know about that, but overall, like, good amount of pages, just a beautiful book. And to start off with, there are some great pages in this book, right? I mean, some great pictures in this book too. And so I'm so happy that she added the pictures and shared her life with us. And I also read Obama's book, not that this has anything to do with it, but Dreams from My Father. And you can tell that you see the parallel, and you can kind of see why the two of them are a good complementary match, right? If you read his book and then you read her book, you can kind of see why, like, they work perfect as a team. And so, just to start off, I say she's predestined because when she was younger, one of her best friends was a young lady by the name of Santita Jackson. So Reverend Jesse Jackson's daughter, who at the time, I think he ran for president, or he campaigned to become president back in the 80s is what I want to say, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so you could just tell, like, that circle of influence is there. And Michelle Obama came from a very good family. I hear people sometimes say that she came from a disadvantaged upbringing, something like that. But the thing is, she didn't come from wealth, but she also didn't come from poverty. She came from a good family. She came from a somewhat of a middle class American family. Her mom is truly like an interesting lady, you know. Her mom is, and you can tell that Michelle has a lot of admiration for her mom. And so, like, right here, you see a picture of her brother, and her dad. And so her relationship with her mom was one that seemed of admiration, and, just seeking her advice and opinion about stuff. And then her dad, just one of, they were cool, probably understood each other. And her brother, you could tell she kind of looked up to her brother. She tried to follow in his footsteps up until a certain point, which I believe was like after Princeton is when, like, she tried to, like, go her own path. So the book starts off kind of, she's just saying she's making a sandwich, and just that simple act of making a sandwich it feels so good to her, because I guess when, the 8 years that they spent in the White House, they couldn't do something that simple. She couldn't go into the kitchen and just, like, make a sandwich, because someone would always be there. What do you need? What do you want? Not asking in that manner, but, like, just always catering to them. And so for her to be able to do that herself and have the house to herself, blah, blah, blah. And so that's how it starts off. But I will say, like, the first few chapters, maybe 9-10 chapters, it's very, like, poetic, and you get a ton, like, you get vision of her childhood, how she grew up. She went to very good schools. She had a good education. Her parents made sure of that. Her mom, like, her dad, she says he worked for the city of Chicago, tending boilers at a water filtration plant. But her dad was becoming handicapped with time, right? And she speaks about that in the book, which is something like that's kind of I imagine difficult to live with someone going through that stage. And then she has her little class pictures showing how, she was in a very multi-diverse school that eventually became all-black school. She grew up in the south side of Chicago. So, and then This is her at Princeton. She got into Princeton, and she made a comment in this one section in the book where she said her guidance counselor was telling her not to aim that high, which, I don't know why guidance counselors would tell kids something like that. But anyway, it's a different time, different era. We're glad that she went to Princeton. And then this is one of her best friends during college. Her name was, which is pretty sad, Suzanne. And the way Michelle Obama describes Suzanne is Suzanne was just a loving and fun person, and she just wanted to have fun, and whatever was, that was her name, fun, 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 live life to the fullest. And her and Michelle were kind of opposites, whereas Michelle was like on a serious, strict path. She was more like trying to enjoy her life more. And you could tell that her and Michelle had a very good, deep relationship. And I think, not to spoil you the book, but the loss really had an impact on Michelle Obama, right? And then this is her and Obama. And for me, there was some wit in the book, definitely. And there were some funny moments, like how she was saying how everyone in the office were like, oh, there's this cute guy, when Obama was going to become her mentee or work for the law firm as an intern. Everyone was so excited about it. They're like, oh, he's so smart and he's a cute guy, blah, blah, blah. And she was just like, she didn't know what all the hype was about. But whatever, he comes and she's like, he was late, blah, blah, blah. And so she wasn't really feeling him in the beginning. She was just like, whatever, this dude is just an intern, feeling himself. But then as time, as they started getting to know each other and building a friendship, that's when just took off from there, and they became lovers, of course. And so, and wife, husband and wife and all that good stuff. And it's interesting because up until I think she had like a boyfriend or two before Obama, but it was no relationship that she was so really excited about. It was just like one of those relationships, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then, but when she met Obama, it was like he completely changed her, because they're opposites, but they really complement each other. And she calls him a swirler, I think, and then versus her, where she's like a box checker. And, they got married and they were living a good life, but he was just constantly, I feel like, challenging her. And then in the book, she talks about like her career path and how she went from law to wanting, after she met him, wanting to do something more meaningful with her life, something with more purpose. And she worked in a hospital. What else? She worked for an NGO. Yeah, just a lot of good stuff in the book. And then the difficulties of conceiving her children, because there was really nothing wrong with either one of them, but she was just saying, they had difficulty. But finally they came forth. They were the love of her life, the most beautiful children she saw. What else? And then, I know I'm like all over the place with this, but you'd have to read the book yourself, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But it's a good book. And it really had my attention up until they started discussing like the campaigning part of it. And then it kind of became slightly political. But the beginning of the book and moving forward, you can tell like it's an intimate book, kind of inspiring memoir. Michelle Obama is very good at storytelling. I will give her that, like the creative writing aspects of it. And then it gets into like the political parts. Mind you, she was reluctant about her husband running for president, but it was predestined for him maybe to become president, and it was in the cards for him. And she was his supporter, the person that would be there for him, and that's what they did. And he became president. And then the way that she describes their years in the White House, I really, really liked it, because I didn't like, if you don't have too much knowledge about what goes on, like you can only imagine. But I mean, some of the things that she shared, I did not know. Like, I didn't know, for example, but you know what, it does make sense, right? But like, for example, she wanted to take her daughters to a classmate's birthday party. They would have to like, the Secret Service guys would scout the entire area of the house. They would have to like do background checks on everyone that would be at the party, blah, 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 just like extreme stuff. And so, yeah, I didn't know it was that extreme. So they were like under tight security and scrutiny and blah, 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 which is expected because they're like you know, the president and the first lady. But Michelle Obama, I mean, I really liked her initiatives as first lady. Like she did the garden, the move, let's move, campaigning thing, eating healthy. Just she said she really enjoys working with children, and that's what she wanted to focus on, and she focused on it. And then some of her memorable visits that I really like, I think when they visited Ghana, I think Kenya, I think she said she liked that one too. Jamaica, you know, all the places that she went to. And then meeting Queen Elizabeth and Nelson Mandela. So these two figures right here, which was pretty funny. Like she said that the protocol is like not to touch the Queen, but when she met her, like she touched her and it was like a big scandal, blah, 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 blah. And Nelson Mandela, she was just awestruck by him. And yeah, Michelle Obama had a very eventful, I mean, she's still alive, but yeah, so far, very eventful, nice life, great first lady, and this book is great. So that's why I came on here just to review it, to let my viewers know you should check it out for sure. You'll like it. I mean, like, you might not fall head over heels in love with it, but I'm sure you'll like it and you'll get something out of it. I surely did. So check it out. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.